What is up, everybody? Jake Shavink here. We are going to go through halftime of the national championship game. Figures mock draft Monday. Let's get to a couple mock drafts. We're probably going to try to do at least a full one here. And then for the teams who don't have the first round picks, Green Bay, Atlanta, Cleveland, we are going to do maybe a little sim for those three teams when this one is done. So let's kind of get through this here quickly as we're working through. So 2026 NFL mock draft, first round. The Raiders, we don't have to mess around too much. This is going to be Fernando Mendoza, right? Quarterback from Indiana. Again, he's looked poised in this first half, too, against Miami, and I think the Raiders will gladly pair that and put a trio of Mendoza, Genti, and Brock Bowers in tow. Now, number 2 gets interesting. I think you could talk like Peter Woods, Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, David Bailey, all of that. Like maybe they want one of the corners, right? Like maybe that's something they would be interested in. Let's take Arvell Reese, special athlete, right? Play linebacker, drop down to edge. I think there's some refinement still that Reese needs to do as an edge rusher that I think an NFL room can give to him. But that's a really, really interesting hybrid player for the Jets defense that obviously they didn't pick up a pass, right, in 2025. So a player who can get extra pressure for them, I think that makes a lot of sense. Arizona, this is probably where that tackle conversation starts. Do they want to take Fano? Do they want to take Malinoa? Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to, kind of start fresh a little bit. They could take Simpson here. That's a possibility. Let's not do that. Let's get a little crazy here. Let's take David Bailey over Ruben Bain. I have this weird feeling that NFL teams might do it. We're going to take David Bailey here for this Arizona Cardinals team. They need to get after the QB, plain and simple. I know that the B.J. Ojulari, right, Robinson from Missouri, right, they've had some players come in, but they need to get after the QB. David Bailey, tremendous season at Texas Tech, right? He had just pressures galore. PFF says 15 sacks. I don't know if that's right or not, but pass rush win rate really, really high. And I think a better run defender and plays with better leverage as a run defender than I think he gets credit for. Tennessee at 4. Again, this Ruben Bain slide could definitely happen. It's not impossible. So let's kind of keep seeing what happens if that does go down that way. Tennessee, they need receiver help. Like, I know you want to bet on kind of the second-year leap from some of these rookies, Jim Ray, DK, right, Io Manor, but getting a guy like Carnell Tate in there who can give Cam Ward a little bit more in terms of the catch radius and, playmaking ability at all three levels. You've seen him as a route runner at times. It'd be really, really impressive. The way he moves at that size, I think that's something that teams are probably going to gravitate to maybe a little bit more than the other two receivers of like, okay, he is big. He's won the contested ball, right? He could potentially play the X position, right? And the movement skills look really good. Like they think that there's an untapped ceiling of production there. Giants at 5. Another one that gets a little tricky, right? Because of how things set up for them. Like they could 100% take Styles here and it wouldn't, I don't think, be crazy at all. They could go another receiver. Let's take Fano for them here. Get the first tackle off the board. I think that, pairing him with Andrew Thomas, and I know they've got like Illuminar. They've had some guys in there at tackle who have been interesting for them. But I do think you lock up a long-term duo there, right? Stay smart. Let's build this thing around Dart and see if he can do it for you. Browns at 6 then without Fano on the board could lend itself to downs. I mean, we could pair Ruben Bain in them right now, and I don't think anyone would bat an eye either. Browns are tricky, right? Receiver, let's see what happens when the receivers get taken here. Let's get a number 1. Injury questions for sure, but let's take Tyson at 6 for them, who I think 3-level player, 3-level threat, really twitchy, really got the details down in terms of the stair-step technique, the rocker steps. All of that is really, really impressive. Washington Commanders at 7. We're going to go obvious here. We're going to take Caleb Downs. I think they just have to get better on defense, period. And I think kind of having that field general on the back end who, yeah, maybe he doesn't have the range of some of the other safeties that have come out in recent years, but the football intelligence, the IQ, the way he can play in the box and kind of be a controller for you at times in that short area as he's working downhill, that's very helpful. Again, we mentioned the instincts, physical to catch point, all of that. the Saints, this could be Jeremiah Love. However, right, you look at Chase Young. Can they afford Chase Young? Can they, is Cam Jordan going to come back? I think that opens the door for a Ruben Bain pick here that they would, I think, gladly take personally. I know, again, Love is very tempting. You pair him long-term with Shuck potentially, but let's go Ruben Bain here. That would be, I think, what the defense kind of needs in terms of a kind of restocking the cupboard. Kansas City Chiefs at 9. Without Bain, maybe they go Peter Woods. Wouldn't be out of the question, but let's give him one of the corners. Jamal McCoy, obviously ACL tear for 2025. He missed all of it. 2024 film is extremely, extremely good. Footwork, the fluidity, all of that is really impressive for a player like that. And with all the wide splits and all that, that he's going up against in practice, and then the SEC obviously deploys it, right? There's a lot of ground to cover. He's done a tremendous job against really, really good competition. It could be some weird thing where the Chiefs, kind of lend themselves to look, because they do have free agents at corner, right? They don't, McDuff, like Williams and others that they've drafted are free agents. So let's go Jamal McCoy at 9. Cincinnati Bengals at 10. Boy, they would have loved Downs or McCoy to fall here, but let's see what happens when the other corner comes off the board, right? I know they could. They've put a lot into defensive line for me to think they're going to take Peter Woods, even though it would make sense. Actually, let's take Mawanoa here. Let's get better along the offensive line, period. And they could go Mansour Delane. They could go Mansour Delane. Nah, let's make sure that Burrow's protected. Let's take Mawanoa at 10. 2 offensive linemen in the top 10. All right, Miami Dolphins at 11. Just hired Jeff Hafley, right? I think he might bring Quay Walker and Malik Willis with him. Kind of opens the door for some other things that you could possibly address here. Yeah, but I think that leaves the door open for Mansour Delane here for the Miami Dolphins at 11. At 12, the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, Jeremiah Love's on the board, but so is Sonny Styles. And he is an excellent linebacker, potential top 5 player in this class. Rams in a tricky spot now. Both the corners come off the board. This might be kind of a trade down candidate. So let's have them do that. Haven't really done this, but I'm going to trade with Minnesota. I think Minnesota gets a bit aggressive here. And yeah, let's go get Jeremiah Love right here, running back. In a little trade down. Rams move down, Vikings move up. Vikings go get their potential running back for a long time, right? Jordan Mason did fine this year. Aaron Jones is kind of on the last leg. You see the injuries catching up to him, but I think that would be a very, very fun pairing in Minnesota. Take some pressure off of your young QB. Now, the Ravens. What could they do? Edge rushers, interesting, but are there guys you want to take here? Maybe you take one of the older guys like Romello Height or Akeem Mesidor, but, right, this receiving core could use a Mekhi Lemon on it, and I think they would pounce at that pretty quickly there. Nice trio. Lemon may take over as the one opposite Flowers. Now, Tampa Bay at 15, they're probably looking edge rusher, right? They would consider that. There's corners that you maybe would consider at this spot. Like this is where you get into Hood, Cisse, and potentially others. But I do think, oh man, I do think they could in theory take the guy here. They've done this before. Let's take Kenyon Sadiq for them. I believe K. Dotton's a free agent, so he moves on, and they bring in Sadiq as a young playmaker. Continue adding. Make sure you have plenty for your offense in case of the injury bug. Jets at 16. We've taken Arvell Reese. I mean, it gets pretty simple. You take Peter Woods as well, and you feel pretty good about that, even though there's no QB you take. Arvell Reese and Peter Woods, same team. That's got to feel really, really good. The Lions are a team that I imagine would look to move up to go get a potential edge rusher, but they could fall in love with the Keldrick Falk thing here, which he is a guy who I think when you look at the profile, it's very, very similar to Mykel Williams last year, who went 11th, right? Athleticism, plenty. Production, not as much. They want to find somebody opposite Aiden Hutchinson, and they go that direction. Now the Rams on the clock. Yeah, I mean, I think your offensive line has really been the question mark, and I think you take Caleb Lomu right here to play either spot. Alaric Jackson hasn't been tremendous out there. The right tackle with McClendon and other guys haven't been great. I think you pounce at the idea to take Lomu right there. Carolina, yeah, a team that should be in, like, edge still could be in play for them, despite taking two of them last year. But I do think that they could still go offensive line and at least think about offensive line at this spot. But let's throw a little bit more resources into that defensive line. And I think they're going to take the Caleb Banks swing. Let's take the swing for Caleb Banks there. Cowboys at 20. Yes, I know that they have corners under contract, but I don't trust that cornerback room right now at all. Let's go Brandon Cisse. Really, really fluid, big corner, plenty of instincts, plenty of experience in off coverage, off man, match, all that stuff that I think is really impressive. Pittsburgh Steelers, we're going to go quarterback here. We're going to take Ty Simpson. This maybe feels a little bit akin to Kenny Pickett, but they gotta do a reset in some capacity. Chargers, really simple. Venga Ioane is available. Venga Ioane is the selection. They have to be better on the interior of the offensive line. It's a shame Zion Johnson has not been very, very good for them. I was excited about him. Philly, yeah, they would have liked Ioane for sure. Philly could make the Caden Proctor swing, and it makes total sense for them to try something like that. But we gave the Banks swing there. Perhaps they reload the cupboard. Nah, let's give them the athletic swing with Proctor going to a really, really good coach in Stoutland down there, which again, Cleveland probably could have done that as well. And Cleveland's top picks here are all offensive line and doubling receiver. This feels like a really, really nice trade down spot for them right now. Or they take the ever-rising Monroe Freeling, who has looked really, really good for Georgia down the stretch, into the postseason. He's looked nice. Chicago Bears. Yeah, even though he's simply a run defender, right? Caden McDonald in that same vein of like you're in the mid to late 20s. If you like Cassius Howell, I guess. If you like TJ Parker, I guess. But also, you want all of this to work. Dennis Allen did a tremendous job in the divisional round, but I think if Caden McDonald can handle an extra man against the run, can free up a lot for you. So let's go Caden McDonald for them. Buffalo Bills, I think they sign Romeo Doubs. I don't think they go after receiver here at the end of the first. I think we give them something else. I think linebacker could be a sneaky one for them, and CJ Allen's pretty darn impressive. So let's go there for them. San Francisco 49ers. Man, we are in a position where we have to take a receiver. Potentially early here at 27. Boston Concepcion. Eesh. Edge, they've put a lot into that room. But I'm going to double check this for San Francisco. But I do think that they could. I don't remember if their safeties are under contract for a long time or not. But we're going to do this live. This is what's fun when you don't completely prepare. You can kind of think about it a little bit. What's the safety room look like beyond this season? Oof, no, doesn't look good. Okay. Let's make the move here. I think he's a really talented player. Dylan Tienneman from Oregon. Yeah, Houston Texans at 28. Guard, center, all of that's in play for them. Let's go get Emmanuel Pregnon here from Oregon. He's got the movement skills to hang as an interior player at the next level. Rams on the clock again. They took Lomu. This gives them a chance to go get a corner they like. Let's give them Keith Abney as well here. Really impressive player from Arizona State. Maybe a little undersized, but the tape is extremely good. Patriots at 30. They could go offensive line again. Their edge rusher room isn't like the greatest. Let's shock the world a little bit here. Let's take a key Mesidor or Zion Young. Let's go Zion Young. A little bit of a stunner there at 30. And then at 31, Denver Broncos. They could really do whatever the heck they want. They want to have fun at the receiver position. They could. Christian Miller might help the run defense. That feels like a really smart thing that they would do. And then round it out, Seattle at 32. Yeah, I mean, you lose Tariq Woolen, feels like a really good opportunity to take Chris Johnson there at the end. So there you go. Quick first round mock. Let's do something for our buddies. Not Cleveland. I said Cleveland at the top. Let's do something for our buddies in the second round here as you take a look at this first round mock draft. Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders, Arvell Reese to the Jets, David Bailey to the Cardinals, Carnell Tate Titans, Spencer Fano the Giants, Jordan Tyson Cleveland, Caleb Downs to Washington, Ruben Bain to the Saints, Jermon McCoy to the Chiefs, Mawanoa to the Bengals, Delane to the Dolphins, Styles to the Cowboys, Love to the Vikings that move up, Lemon to the Ravens, Sadiq to the Tampa Bay Bucks, Peter Woods paired with Reese in New York, Falk to the Lions, Lomu to the Rams, Banks to Carolina, Cisse to Dallas with Styles, Ty Simpson goes to Pittsburgh, Ioane to the Chargers, Caden Proctor to Philly, Monroe Freeling, offensive line run, probably going to happen to the Browns, Cade McDonald to the Bears, CJ Allen to the Bills, Dylan Tienneman to the San Francisco 49ers, Pregnon to the Texans, Abney, the second pick for the Rams, Zion Young to the Pats, Christian Miller to the Broncos, and Chris Johnson to Seattle Seahawks. And now let's do a quick one for the teams. Colts, Falcons, Jags, and Packers who do not have first-round picks. Maybe we'll just do a little bit extra for you guys. Couple rounds. Let's do a couple rounds for you guys. So let's go Colts. I think are on the clock first, just ahead of Atlanta. Colts, what are they in need of? Secondary, right? The corner position could be an issue for them long term. I do think if they want to get better rushing the passer, they really need to find something. Let's try Romello Height for them. They need to get better rushing the passer. They really, really do. Atlanta, corner, defensive line. Yeah, wide receiver seems to be a real problem for them. A real problem. Be fun if that other, Ted Hurst. Bigger guy could be a really good compliment. Or we just go get Omar Cooper Jr. for Atlanta there. Green Bay at 52. Lots of options. I think Lee Hunter's a tremendous one for them. Will they do it? Good question. Let's take Julian Neal for them, the corner from Arkansas. Jacksonville at 56. Yeah, I mean, I do think interior offensive line makes a lot of sense for them. We could do that. Defensive line. Anybody on the defensive line that's good? Yeah, Lee Hunter's impressive. Let's take Lee Hunter for Jacksonville. Second Colts pick, we've got Romello Height on the team already for them. Indy. What do we want to do here? Let's go Jacob Rodriguez for them. Atlanta, we've taken Omar Cooper Jr. Let's take for them. I know the right tackle situation. They haven't loved it. I know they want to go after center. Brian Parker would be a nice option for them as a tackle convert into center. Jacksonville, we've taken Lee Hunter. They've got a lot of picks. We're going to have to pick quickly for them. Take Lee Hunter. We take Jake Slaughter. Play on the interior. Packers, taking Julian Neal. Got to get a... I know they don't do this very much, but let's take a guard. Let's take Basantis. Jacksonville again. Boy, it just doesn't feel like they're going to lose out with a lot of a lack of selections. Let's go Will Lee. He plays physical. Campanile will like him. And then let's end it with Jacksonville. with Genesis Smith, who's a really, really nice safety. So there you go for some teams. Where are my teams? Don't know. They don't like it, but whatever. Colts, we had Romello Height and Jacob Rodriguez. Atlanta, we did Omar Cooper Jr., and we did Brian Parker. Packers, we did Julian Neal and Chase Besantis. Jacksonville, lots of picks. Lee Hunter, Jake Slaughter. Yep. Will Lee, and then Genesis Smith. So there you go, guys. Quick first-round mock plus some second and third round mocks for the teams without first-round picks. Thank you guys for tuning in. For those who did, plenty more draft content on the way. We got a Makai Lemon vid coming tomorrow, so hope you guys stick around for that. But thank you guys. Thanks for Chris who hopped in here. I see you in the comments, but that's going to do it for me. Enjoy the second half. Enjoy Mock Draft Monday. Hope you had an awesome time in the divisional round. See you later.